choice. This is your program, Flashpoint Facts, on Eco TV International. You can follow us on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. I am Oviedo Ture, your host, and I have my co-journalist here to discuss the things that have passed and are still going on in our society or Africa at large. But before going further, I will let him introduce himself.
Yes, my name is Jeremiah Korea, co-journalist presenter on Eco TV International based on Flashpoint Fact. And today we are here discussing about the things that had happened in the past. And now we'll carry on.
Jeremiah, millions of Africans travel to Europe for a better life and a better living for themselves and their family members or relatives. And late Mohamed Gaddafi of Libya said that a united Africa will utilize its resources to create jobs for Africans that will keep Africans home. And home is not a place where you live. Home is a place where you belong. And Africa is our home. We cannot live without a home. It is as that you can't leave your mother when you are a little child. That is it. Africa is our home. We cannot leave it. So now, looking at that, Africa is abound by so many things. We have so many natural resources, but we are not utilizing it. So now, the cause of that, to my point of view, is that we are not united as Africans, because when we are united, we will overcome so many different things for our better lives and for the generations coming over and over. So now, to your perception, what do you think?
Well, I think Africa would have been united from the first place. Africa, the ethnic differences in Africa, that is what is encouraging the socio-economic development of Africa. So now we can see the ethnical differences. That's what is calling upon the African people to be divided. You look at our leaders, sometimes they create what you call regional party. Look at the Sierra Leone People's Party in Sierra Leone. So that alone is something that focuses on or centralize its idea to other regions that will motivate its people, and then development will focus on that. And I will take an example of this place here, Ghana. You look at the ideologies of Kwame Nkrumah. Kwame Nkrumah formed his party, that is a conventional people's party for self-ruling in Ghana in 1951. So this party means for self-ruling, in order to free themselves from the hands of white or the colonies. According to this ideology, said Africa can be great when we are united as one people, and also focus on our common good as African, to intertrade between African continent and to have one army, and to forget about the religion differences and the cultural diversities and the political diversities, to make sure that we look onto Africa as one people despite one color.
And when you look at the political background, there comes in the tribal issue. And take an example of Gambia nowadays. Now, the Mandinkas are siding with the UDP and the other ethnic groups like Fulers and Wolofs, stuff like that. They are siding with the NPP. Now, when you are a Mandinka here, when it's time for politics issue, they term you as a UDP. Even if you put on a cloth that the color is yellow, they say that you are a UDP fan, and which is not it. But the thing is that I think our politicians are the people that are the problem. Because for them, when they come together and tell the people that the government always changes, the government will change, but the people will still remain. So I think they are the people that are the main problem. They should bring people together instead of dividing them. When you are doing your rallies, you should tell people that, to encourage them and tell them the things that you do for the Gambians, not for this particular ethnic group or another particular ethnic groups. Stuff like that should end. You should bring all the tribes together instead of dividing them.
To put it bluntly, I would like to emphasize on this. You see, I will say, being a part of ethnic group and being in that ethnic group is different. Sometimes you can be part of me while you are not entitled to be in that ethnic group. But you can be called Mandinka. And if you know that you want to be called a respected Mandinka or respectful Mandinka, you should know how to motivate yourself. You should know how to behave or cope in the midst of people. To be called that respected Mandinka. Some people are part of Mandinka, but they are not real Mandinkas. So to see as a real Mandinga, even though they are part of Mandingas, but the real Mandingas who are there outside today, when something happened to one of their members, those who are part, they say they want to cooperate and say, we are Mandingas, we should take a part in this problem, or should partake in this problem to make sure we back this guy. Well knowing that this guy is not there to work for the interests of Mandingas in this country. I've seen some Mandingas in this country.
Yes.
One who discriminating others, other tribes. They live so peacefully, harmonious way with other ethnic groups in this country. Not all Mandingas are racist, and not all Mandingas take their ethnicity as the superior one. No, they come as equivocation, or equivalent right, and then the same religious tolerance as some claim that, and also the supremacy of ethnicity in the Gambia. We live with so many Mandingas in this country. And that they always make sure that they do the right thing as it is expected of them.
And also, to tell people that it is not that if you are a Mandinka, then you are a UDP fan, or if you are a Fula, you are an NPP fan, or if you are a Wolof, you are a fan of PDOIS. It is not like that. There are people following His Excellency Arambaro. They are not Mandinkas, they are not Fulas, they are not Wolofs. They are Salbules, are there different ethnic groups. But the thing is that people have different ideologies, we have different perceptions. We do not think together, we don't have different minds. So as it is that we need to come together, make a group or rallies about this politics so that we can cope as one people, one Gambia. And we should not thank ourselves as I am Mandinka, you are Wolof. No. We should just focus on Gambia. I am a Gambian, not Mandinka or Fula, Sarabule, like that. So what can you elaborate on that?
Well, taking on to the civil right, if you observe the civil right of the Gambia, not Gambia alone, but all over the world, Article 3 stated that we have right to life and liberty. You see, if that liberty is freedom of belonging to a particular political party. So if I without intimidation in the country, and even the house where I'm coming from, home. So that time, or that moment, I have the right to belong to a political party. It doesn't matter if my mom is a UDP front. It doesn't matter if my father is an NPP front.
Since you are at the age of reason that you should have your own ideology, choosing for yourself. So that's what we will elevate Africa forward. Not to discriminate or not to be in the line with what your father wishes of you to be and what your father determines you to be. This is what we should know as African at large. We are not talking only about the Gambia, but we are talking Africa at large. This is a flashpoint that talks about the past and things that have been recently. And this tribal issue is not only in the Gambia, it is the whole Africa.
The whole Africa, I would like to quote from the Tigray region. The Tigray region in Ethiopia, we can see many thousands of people have been displaced from their homes today. And that's what will really affect the economic situation of the country. Because as young, vibrant people who should have partaken in the social economic development of their country are not doing that at the right time. We believe that if there's conflict in a certain area or particular nations, it will inherit the development of the country. All government work will stop at some point, because where they will go at a state of emergency and people will be restricted from their movement in order to be safe. Yes.
And just to remind you, this is Eco TV International, the People's Choice. You can follow us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And Jeremiah, you mentioned about freedom. And when we talk about freedom, we should take an example of Nelson Mandela, Madiba of South Africa, the late president, first black president of South Africa. He's a great leader. He said that freedom is an idea that he wants to live for, but it need be an idea that he is ready to die for. What does he mean by that? As a leader, you should live by example. And in those days, during the colonial period in South Africa, there was this apartheid, which was a former policy of South Africa, discriminating the blacks, segregating them against their own will. And to that, he's an egalitarian. He wants equality, freedom, and peace for his people, reconciliation. So as you can see, he's a great leader, and he lived by his example, and his legacy is still living. Now, leaders of nowadays should look up to him. What do you think, or do you have any contrary view to that?
Yeah, he should serve as an example of African leaders who humble themselves and have the heart to forgive. If you have the heart of Nelson Mandela or Madiba, I could remember in 1948 when there was an apartheid in South Africa. Many people were segregated. From 1948 to 1950 to 53, many blacks were segregated from the white people. They were separated. Transportation system was so difficult because the black people in South Africa, the Bantus and the Zulus, were suffering because the white people have the concept or the idea, that was their ideology, that the land belongs to them. They are the indigenous of that place. While the black people are the numerous people at that time. They are the majority. Let me put it that way. So Nelson Mandela started as a schoolboy in Johannesburg, as a lawyer, as a law student, started his political career in the early age. When he was very young, as a young boy, he mobilized so many youths, the Youths Convention, I can say, group, to fight against that apartheid in 1948. But Nelson Mandela did so. And they took him to prison where I spent 27 years.
Yes.
And from there he has been working, going through hardship, torture, tormented, I can say, Madiba. So you can see, if you keep on reminding this thing to people, some their eyes will be in tears. But we have to talk about it as young journalists, professional and Eco TV International. Today, you see Nelson Mandela have been tortured in an island, in a prison around Fort. Nelson Mandela have been going through hardship. Until 1994, where I stood for an election, Nelson Mandela won the elections. From 1994, that was the very good legacy that he would have stayed, and he have left it behind, which we are enjoying today. The South African people are enjoying today.
He really tried for them.
Tried for them until 1999, where he said he's going to step out of the office. Nelson Mandela stepped out of the office. As a good leader, he would have continued, he would have been in the power because he's the one who's struggling. He went through hardship. He would have been there, enjoying that office. But they said, no, let me give a chance to the other ones coming.
To bring changes
Into the government. So every African leader, because Nelson Mandela is ideologies, his concept is that every human person has the right to forgive and reconcile with others, according to him.
That's why when he was released, he opened his heart and forgave them all. And as you see that he's a sign of peace, man of peace and honor. And Madiba is a man who loves his people. He loves peace, equality for everyone. People should look up to him and take him as an example. And now leaders, when they step into office, they will want to back out. They will not step down to give chances to someone else. And people have different ideologies. When you do your plans for the country, you do your part. Give chance to someone else to try his. That's how a country develops gradually. But everybody, when they test the power, they want to stay there forever.
And Nelson Mandela serve an example. As we are speaking here too, when we are speaking about Nelson Mandela, sometimes you feel that there's his spirit crying to African leaders, that they should follow the pathway that they have paid for them to pass through, which was moody, but some people cannot walk through it. And today he paved a way for them. Nelson Mandela Madiba in South Africa is a great man, I can say it. He always said, if you want to make your enemy as your friend, you should work with your enemy to be your partner. So when you make that partnership with your enemy, he becomes your friend. He or she becomes your friend. And Nelson Mandela is like that. Africa, these are the people who want to see Africa forward.
Yes.
I will quote from my real man, the one who lived the legacy that we are enjoying today, West Africa, because it's the pioneer of independence in West Africa, Francis Nkrumah or Kwame Nkrumah. Kwame Nkrumah is a man who always wants to see Africa moving forward.
Yes, in another dimension.
In another dimension. Kwame Nkrumah is a man who always wants to see Africa smile in their culture. Kwame Nkrumah is a man who always wants to see Africa dress in their culture. Kwame Nkrumah is a man who always wants to see Africa knowing what they have. Kwame Nkrumah is a man who always wants to see Africa being able to take care of themselves and what they have, not begging from other people. Kwame Nkrumah. That's why we always call for unification, in order to unify as Africans. That's why I could remember in 1945 when he attended with his colleagues, his members of the organization, Pan-African organizations in Manchester, back in UK. I could remember George Podmore. I could remember William Edward Dubois. I could remember our greatest man, Marcus Garvey too. So these people, they went to attend a convention or meeting in Manchester, in UK. So the discussion that I've made, they discuss for people to be united, Africans, through their color, as far as their color. It doesn't matter where you come from in Africa. When they ask what they see is an African man, because through our colors and blood. Yes. For Africans to be united around the world, the globe, not only African continent, but even those who are in the United States of America, those who are in Europe or American state, they should know, American continent, that they are all Africans. They have something.
And as Africans, our color can tell that we are Africans. This black skin, we have melanin in it, so it cannot be tanned. But now, we hate ourselves to the extent that we bleach. We want to look like the white man. But if you want to bleach, but you can never look like what you want to be. And also, if you leave it, you can never be what you wear, and you can never be what you want to be. And black is a unique color. Black is a color that you can never buy with material wealth. But if I want to be white today, I can go to the market and buy cosmetics with these chemicals, mix them together and apply on my body. But I will never be white as the white man. I will just change the surface of my skin.
Well, my opinion to that is everyone's lifestyle. That one, to me, it left to them.
That's on African.
Yes. I would like to make reference to Leopold Sédar Senghor, to his point that he wrote, Black Woman, Naked Woman. So the black woman represents the fruitfulness of Africa. Even the building that we are sitting on the studio today, even this one have demolished a fall for 2 years, and the rain on it, and all this is scattered or fragmented. Then, if you grow something, a tree on top of the cement, because the sand that you have in is rich, the plant will germinate. And that is the richness of Africa. And they use the imagery to describe Africa as black. Woman, that's why I use woman.
Women are very vulnerable.
Thank you. And they are very fruitful in terms of, if we say vulnerable, then the nakedness would have been used to represent vulnerable weaknesses that he make refers to. So you can see, Leopold Sédar Senghor, when he traveled to France to study, he realized the lifestyle of French people, and now write about Africa, how fruitful Africa is. And he's a man, he's a nationalist. He's a man also who loves his country. To a certain point in time, it is where he decided to return back to Senegal and become the first president of Senegalese people. Félix, I will make reference to Félix Houphouët-Boigny. Félix Houphouët-Boigny is an Ivorian. He's a Burkina Faso. He's a man from Burkina Faso. When I say Upper Volta in those days, and then when Thomas Sankara came into power, he renamed the country into the country of upright men. but it was named by the white Western colony as the Upper Volta. Burkina Faso means the land of upright men by Thomas Sankara. I could remember Jules Nyerere. These are the people who have created ideology. I could remember Ahmed Sékou Touré in Guinea-Conakry, a close friend to Kwame Nkrumah, Francis Nkrumah. Oh, this is a very painful thing when you remember these great people who always want to see Africa moving forward.
And for Kwame Nkrumah, he was betrayed by his own people. We hate ourselves. And Kwame Nkrumah hadn't been that if he had survived for a long time, we wouldn't be talking about these stuffs. Africa would have been something else, not like this. Because Kwame Nkrumah, what he have in his head is something that can change the lives of Africans if we all come together. But no, they ganged behind him and betrayed him. They killed him, us, we killed him ourselves.
I'm making the reference that the Kwame Nkrumah, if they leave him up to this point in time, it would have been maybe better issues that would confront in Africa. Africa today is a very great problem that we cannot solve or probably always seek for aid or international help. Even decision.
That cannot solve the problem.
As a good journalist, in view of what we are discussing, even the mental picture that we create, we should know what is good and what is bad. We're not speaking against the government, but as journalists who are here today, observing the problem that is going on with African people and suffering today. Our brothers are dying in the Mediterranean, crossing that Atlantic Ocean or Red Sea to make sure they have a better living condition. And what is that better living condition? In Europe, believe that the food is the cheapest thing to get, or substance to get, in order to keep your life sustained or to sustain your life. But in Africa, ask me whether food is the cheapest thing to get, rather than break through into people's houses.
And the three important things in life is shelter, food, and clothing. But it is very difficult nowadays.
In Africa.
Because we don't utilize what we have. We are misusing it.
If coming back to Kwame Nkrumah, Francis Nkrumah ideology, not all the leaders in Africa in those days agreed or concurred with Kwame Nkrumah. Because Kwame Nkrumah, the division of Kwame Nkrumah started in Casablanca of Morocco, the convention that they had there. And the other people also set their own convention or organization called the Brazzaville Convention. That's where the separation comes. Other people decide to attend the Brazzaville Convention, and some decided to attend the Casablanca Convention. The agreement. Some people disagree. The ideology of Kwame Nkrumah or disconcord the ideology of Kwame Nkrumah. Say that what Kwame Nkrumah is saying, they are not agree, they are not concord with that. So they have to change their ideology. Kwame Nkrumah, though it would have been better thing, and it would have been the newest thing to happen when Kwame Nkrumah is alive. But Kwame Nkrumah is the pioneer of independence. Jules Nyerere is ideology. These are philosophers. Ahmed Sékou Touré also do the same. But Ahmed Sékou Touré revolt against the French colony. And I did not give him chance to join the Safia. The Safia money that they were using and now up to date, those people are using. They are not using the same money as Senegalese people are using. They are using what they call Franco-Guinea. And the Franco-Guinea is a valuable, the money is not heavy, it's not valued. People are still suffering in Guinea-Conakry. And the Fouta-Djallon Island that is located in Guinea-Conakry alone, the government of Guinea-Conakry would have utilized the resource that they get from Fouta-Djallon Island by water, because it's part of the natural resources.
And now we have lost our great philosophers, those great peoples. But now we are here. We can make changes as one Africans. We can come together, work as one with one heart, and change the whole continent. It can be possible, because there's nothing in this life which is not possible. Anything can be possible. So we have to try, give it our all, pour our whole heart and soul into it, try our best, and see Africa move forward, not backward. Forward ever, backward never. That's what we have to look into.
While unification is from the people, the only ideas and concept that we are having within us and which is affecting everyone today in Africa is that if you look at in terms of opportunity or work opportunity in the country or job opportunity, there are many areas in Africa here which are not industrialized. And industries have to be built in order to have employment opportunity. To respect to you and I, to be grown in a poor family. I don't know whether they keep on feeding you up to the age of 30, 35. You in turn, not you in turn feeding them, caring for them, or taking care of them. So we have to apply the illegal way or clandestine way to Europe. Even though we are poor, but we pray to God when you reach and you will be safe. The opportunities are given to them when they reach. And these are the people, if you look at Africa, the money that we use to build our mansions or houses, most of the money that we get is from Europe. Not Africa here. Some people get their money from Africa. But up to date, we are the very people who are trying to disfigure our own people in Africa. But yet, we put blame onto white people. If I'm the owner of this shop and you come to buy something and you realize that what I'm selling is not good, or if you realize that what I'm selling is the high quality, if you don't come, someone will come. And then the one of shop still remain the same. You just buy, exchange of goods and services. That is trade. I'm trying to relate this to substantiate this problem today that we are facing in Africa.
And you talk of this job issue. When you look at it now, someone will be out there with his qualification papers, with all the capability and ability, but he will be denied of the position that he applied for or the job that he seek for. But someone outside or a relative comes today and he will give him the opportunity, and that alone can bring a country down, because it will not take a country forward, because you cannot give something that you don't have. Someone with unqualified papers, documents, what do you expect the person to do? Nothing. You're just going to degrade your work and bring it down. But now people believe in what we call mboka nice. In our local language, we said mboka nice. When you have connections, you can have a job. But someone out there with all the qualities and all the know-how, still will be denied the job. So that's why some people are frustrated. So they use through this illegal way to go outside to seek for a better living. And that's not good for our country or our continent at large.
When you speak about the clandestine way or the people who have good papers and travel abroad, ask them how many relatives, those who finish universities in Africa here and then the college and also apply this clandestine way to Europe, ask them the type of job that they are doing. As a co-journalist to me, ask them the type of job that they are doing, that they normally do. You realize that when they travel to abroad, the job that they ignore in Africa here, want to sit in office just to write on the paper and to make mention of that Mr. So-and-so is putting on necktie every day and passing by nice cars. Not everyone will get that opportunity to the office. Otherwise, the office will be full of people there. Even the Ministry of Agriculture, as we term agriculture as the backbone of every nation, agriculture, what they are doing, when somebody has been to Europe for his masters or for our masters, when he or she returns back to Africa, especially the Gambia that I know of right now, they will be complaining about the job opportunity not to be offered to them in office. Do they ask themselves if they will go and practice on the field or in the field? These are the people who should be on the farm to work all the time to make sure there's enough food, because they get the knowledge about agriculture. Let me tell you something that people misunderstand. You have what we call farmers and agriculturists. An agriculturist is a man who's well equipped in terms of education about agriculture. A farmer is somebody who has little knowledge, perhaps no knowledge about agriculture, but it's also engaged in a tedious job or manual job. Even the one with PhD degree in agriculture or called agriculturist is also sometimes engaged in manual job. But this is what is developing, distressing many people, stressing many people in Africa. And this is what is denying development in Africa, especially in the Gambia. Everybody wants to work in office. For instance, if you tell your mom or your father you want to be an agriculturist or farmer, he will tell you, no, you don't have aim, and you don't have any aim. So who will work for you and enjoy it? That's why most of the time now we have Pakistani rice. You have the Chinese rice, you have the Japanese rice, and you have the Indian rice, American rice. So those people, if you realize their farmers are well educated more than even our ministers in Africa. Those who own farm companies in Europe. And they engage in farming, they control their farm, they have PhD degree. And if you do not leave that concept, that if you have education, if you're westernized by being educated, going through Western education or formal education, you have to work in an office without using your practical that you have taught in those Western countries, because we have seen them. Even in our country here, only working have the concept to work in office. This Africa will never move forward. We have to abandon these ideologies. Those who can work on the farm, let them establish their farm so that they reduce unemployment rate in Africa, especially in the Gambia today.
I know people term agriculture
As a dirty work. When you tell someone that I want to embark on agriculture, they say, you don't have any aim. You don't choose anything above all the jobs. You want to be an agriculturist. Go. That's what they tell you.
I can assure you that, Roy, as a journalist, we have a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do in the Gambia, not Africa at large. We are not criticizing, but we are speaking with people, not on behalf of people. That's the work of journalism. A journalist always speak on behalf of people, then that journalist is not a professional journalist. But we are speaking right now, we are sitting here, we are speaking with people on Eco TV International. Online, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, we are speaking with the mind of people, with people. We are learning with people. That is the reality Africa is facing today. You talk of favorism. When you say favorism, taking or backing of relatives and taking them to the place of work where they do not marry to, it's all about favorism. Some people receive the salary in Africa which they did not merit. So let us go. Agriculture can assure you that no one can stay in the absence of food. You and I are seated here today in this office, we need food in order to get energy or to sustain life.
And to remind you again, this is
Eco TV International, the people's choice. You can follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notification buttons for more videos. And agriculture is the backbone of every country or every nation. We cannot live without agriculture because you cannot live without food or water. And with agriculture, we can gain so many things. With timber, rice, these vegetables, so many things with agriculture. But now people regard agriculture as a dirty work. Everybody wants to sit under the shade in the office, turn on the AC, drinking, eating good stuffs, building mansions. But when you tell people about agriculture, that's a no-go area. They said it's a work of the poor people. They said agriculture is the work of the poor people. But no. Now look at China. China in those days was one of the poorest countries. But now China, people look up to China. You and I want to go to China because of what? They are developed. But one thing is that they embark on agriculture. Agriculture developed their country. Likewise, all the Western countries. But here, we do not prioritize agriculture. And we cannot move forward without agriculture. Agriculture is something that we need to prioritize and put it into consideration.
Many years back, if you offered a visa to Singapore, you would have told me that I'm not going to Singapore. Even when you arrive at the airport, you come back. But they see to it that only agriculture can move their country forward. And they embark on agriculture, they started planning agriculture. And also, before coming to Rwanda, we talk of China that you have made mention. as young journalists sitting on this platform today discussing about how Africa will move forward. We're not only here to criticize, but we are here to inform and educate people. That's how young professional journalists should be. And we are here speaking with people. Right now, education is the agriculture with education goes together. Because those people in those days doesn't mean that they don't have knowledge about it. They don't have the knowledge about crops. They have the knowledge about crops. But when it comes to education, then now education facilitate due to the improvement of science and technology. For the fabrications or the invention of machines that will help man to improve in his way. But that is not seen today in Africa. And agriculture is the first business and it will be the last business. The chairs that we are sitting on this studio today is from agriculture. Because we know the main factor of production is the land. And the land, that's where the sun comes from. Even the building that we are sitting under today is from agriculture. The sand that they use, the sandy sand that they use to produce the blocks today in mixture with cement culture that they use to make cement with. So what are you telling me? And food that we eat is from agriculture. The clothing that we put on from the raw materials, then they manufacture it and now process it into finished good is from agriculture.
And to educate a farmer would be difficult because now we have extension workers, those that go to the farms to educate people, to direct them how to plant, where to plant, when to plant, and how to plant your crops. When you approach someone, you want to guide the person. The first thing that the person will tell you, especially an elderly person, he will tell you that before you were born, I was doing this. So that also discourages the extension worker. The person will not have the zeal to continue the work.
So this is Eco TV program that always come on your way or into your way, sometimes in a week or not all the day. But with me, our co-presenter or co-member of discussion, Royal Tuture, and this is Eco TV International. Immediately you, on your connection, just click on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, you will see us. The People's Choice, you get the newest information. With an Eco TV International, we are here to inform and educate everyone in the society. We are not here to make the life of people bore, but we are here to educate. With the professional journalists that we have and the reporters, and also the national programs, that is the local language, you will see other people. All the public interests, we have them. Tune on Eco TV. We are so special and located at Abuko, Abusi. Thank you. I'm Jeremiah Korea, and next week we shall meet again.
This is how we've come to the end of program. This is Eco TV International, the People's Choice. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok for more videos. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notification buttons for more videos. Thank you. Bye-bye. See you till next time.